What's up, my brother?
What's up?
Back again.
We're back. It's been a minute, but
I know. Sorry about that, guys. Kind of dropped a heater and then decided to skip town.
Just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, super busy between work stuff. Just a lot going on with the kids. Feel like everybody's getting sick. Not fun.
We've been sneezing. Speaking of that, where are we, Caleb?
Where am I sneezing?
Yeah, where are you sneezing?
I've been sneezing.
Where were you last night?
I was sneezing at the Role Model concert.
Oh, yeah.
All night. Literally.
The Tabernacle.
Yeah, the Tabernacle. Literally was sneezing. But dude, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Yeah, so anybody listening, we went to me, Haley, Ethan, and Miranda. We took our first trip solo, no kids, together in 6 years.
I think it's been that long.
Since like the girls were pregnant with Isla and Elliot in Amsterdam. It's the first time.
Have we not? We haven't gone on any trips without the kids.
No solo.
Boom. This is a novel experience.
I know. We needed it. But yeah, we're in Atlanta and we decided we haven't been able to film a podcast in a minute. So let's just bring the equipment, super easy, and keep it chill like we try to do. Mm-hmm. And just see if we can get some content out for you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the phrase?
Anyway, we should just dive right in.
Let's do it.
To what
you
we
want to introduce
about.
the provocative question?
Yeah, and that's nothing crazy, but
it's good though.
Yeah, but we want to talk about what is a leader and is everyone a leader?
Yeah, I think that's the crux of the question. Is everyone a leader?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the biggest question is everyone a leader? I guess that's the more controversial part.
We might even agree to disagree in some areas of this, which will be fine.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway,
so,
yeah, I guess like maybe we should start with what is a leader. You might be better at explaining what a leader is.
We could just workshop it together, but I'm kind of stealing what your line is because I think it actually sums it up pretty good. But a leader is an influencer, somebody that influences somebody else. And of course, we've seen good leaders, bad leaders, and we've seen how they influence people in a bad way. They influence people in a good way. But yeah, a leader has influence, and they use their influence to either do good or bad.
Yeah, it could be good or bad, like you're saying. But, in the context we're trying to do is definitely more in a good way and just acknowledging the influence you do have sometimes. But not everybody has influence, right? Or would you say
that's kind of the question?
That's the question, yeah.
That's kind of the question.
I think everybody does because that's where it comes in. I think everybody is a leader to some degree. We definitely have different categories, and I think more people have more influence over people.
Yes.
And then other people, they might be more of like a bystander, but they're not, saying they're not leading people per se of like, hey, come and do what I'm doing, or they're not teaching other people to do their job and leading them through a situation perhaps. Mm-hmm. But to some level, even just being good at what you do and not trying to teach others, you can have influence.
Yeah, leading by example.
Leading by example.
Yep. And you could be setting bad examples or you could be setting good examples. And I think that's obviously where you and I are like, we're passionate about setting good examples and being, obviously we're not perfect, but setting a good example so that someone can follow after you. Because, like even somebody let's kind of just picture like an 18-year-old, maybe their first job. There's 15-year-olds looking at that 18-year-old, seeing them get a new job, seeing them in whatever capacity, you name it, whether it's like in the workplace, whether it's at church, I don't know. You can just imagine somebody is watching you. Of course, we shouldn't live always like, yeah, somebody's watching us. But it's the reality that people are looking at us and they are going to probably take after things that we do, especially younger people. Mm-hmm. But in your context, which I think is probably the most relevant, is when you're given a position or you're in a position where it's clear you're the leader, you know what I mean? That's different than what the first scenario I just described.
That's there's a term for it. I can't remember, but it's appointed authority.
Appointed.
You have authority.
Yeah.
And it's by your position or title, or you own a business. So you just naturally, so there's natural authority, I guess, and then there's given authority. So someone might be naturally gifted in having influence over people.
That's good, yeah.
And then there's people that have it just because of a title, you know, which I think that's pretty common to hear about. They have a boss or somebody above them, and they have to listen to them, and they're like, man, that person, like there's a classic meme that goes around about people older, they're making more than they are, and they don't know how to save a PDF or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You seen that?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But I think that it's, kind of what we were saying. You know, sometimes it's by title. Other times there's people that just naturally have more influence over a group.
That is a good distinguisher, because and it's weird. I'm kind of thinking there's certain scenarios or contexts where I do think I have more influence in the room or in the organization than I do in other contexts.
We were talking about that in the car ride. That's interesting. Because we were talking about how I feel that in a small group setting, in our Bible study, you're good at initiating certain things.
Yeah.
And getting the people to be bought in because you're really passionate about it. And not that you're not passionate about your job. I just think because there's people above you with titles too.
Yeah, there's a structure there. There's a different
more structure. You're not able to just step into it and lead. You have the ability to.
Yes, and there's people with different personality types in my same scenario in my job where they would step in and they'd be like, oh, I get this structure. I'm going to like kind of assert myself in there and be
regardless if they're asked to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the position or status. They just will.
That's more my personality.
Yeah.
I feel like I am getting pretty good, hopefully, at acknowledging when someone else is in control of something. It's kind of nice to just let them do it.
That's like this, what is it, the submissive kind of piece to it?
I guess. I mean, it's realizing to keep my mouth shut because I have so many ideas and they're sometimes like it's okay, but I try to see if someone wants an idea before I just blurt it out. Because it might not always be helpful. And that person's trying to figure out something. It can be very detrimental to someone to where, you know, they want to be able to come up with the idea on them like themselves. If you don't let them, it's very demoralizing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is hard for my personality naturally because I'm doing it from a good place.
Yeah.
Where I feel like they're wanting to figure something out and they're not. So then I'm trying to help them.
Yes. Okay, that brings up maybe this is not relevant, but maybe it is. You tell me. We can kind of reel it in if it's not. But there are people that in a leadership position where people like you, if they're not technically in that role of leader, they'll be very what's the word? Attacked or threatened by it. That is a sign of a potentially a bad leader. Maybe a leader that doesn't understand that the strength of the team is really important, and they'll like squash and limit people's strengths to come in and fill.
I think it's having the mindset of what we're talking about is everyone a leader, and if you have it's position based and not everyone has influence, then you're not trying to nurture their influence. Because if you're nurturing them to do better, it's going to help you. And then they're going to bring others around them because trying to get people to rally around each other instead of just me. Say I was the leader trying to suppress. If I keep it to where all the ideas are mine, it's going to be a very low ceiling we're going to hit very quickly.
Yeah.
But if we can create a culture of rallying where we all do this, that's where true growth, like we can go further kind of deal.
Yeah, more impact, more influence.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. Going back to the original question, I do think that okay, maybe it's a nuanced answer, but I think everybody has the capacity or potential to be a leader. I do think we all have it.
Yep.
And I think it matters, a bunch of different factors. First and foremost, probably having a champion, a guide, probably one of the most instrumental variables in this is like somebody telling somebody, hey, I think you've got this leadership quality. I think you need to step into it. Second thing is confidence. Like it just takes some confidence to step into it. It's like a two, just, you know what I mean? It's like a 2-part maybe problem.
I think part of the confidence part too, I'm thinking about someone I've kind of talked with before. It's encouraging them that other people are looking to them.
Helping them see what they don't see.
Yeah, helping them realize that people do look to them and they have weight to what people they take into account what they say, I forget how to word that.
When they talk, when you talk, or when they talk,
it
people
means
listen.
something. Yeah, they want to know what you have to say. But if they don't have the confidence to, then they can't, and then it's just a never-ending cycle, basically.
Yes, this kind of goes back to like people who almost need somebody to like nudge them a little bit. Some people are a little more initiative and activating, like I think you are. And then some people are more like responsive and loyal. Like, dude, if you just ask me to do it, I probably will. I'll maybe consider it, especially if it's like something I maybe really don't want to do. But like it takes a little bit of like pulling somebody out for some personality types. And then for some, maybe it's like steering because they're already there. They're like, I'm ready to go. Like, I want to do this, lead. But you got to guide them or steer them. I don't know.
I think it kind of goes into what we were chatting about in the car too with the misses.
We should have been recording.
I know, but how I'm like 30,000 foot view. Haley's like boots on the ground, figuring out how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm zoomed out. She's zoomed in. That's how she says it.
Yeah.
And both are needed because I'm so zoomed out all the time. I need somebody that's more kind of like, hey, don't forget to look at the detail. Like put your, I'm looking out of where we could go and seeing everything. And she wants me to stop and like look at what's around me and stuff.
Yes. You're looking beyond the hill.
Yeah.
And she's looking at the cattle.
Yeah.
Right in front of her.
Yeah. And I think because just with being we want to be more well-rounded as a leader, but I'm not going to be the details guy. So it's realizing my strengths and looking for others to come in and fill those. And then for them, Haley doesn't see big picture. So then it needs someone like with my personality. And then you and Rand are the opposite more so.
Yeah. More. We're not as far on the spectrum of zoomed out, but definitely, like a complimentary thing.
She's going to just go for it.
Yeah.
You're going to be more contemplative on...
I'm going to be thinking about it. I'm going to analyze it.
You see the idea... But you got to make sure there's a plan. Yeah. She's just like gonna bulldoze.
She sees it a lot quicker too. Yeah. She sees the plan a lot quicker.
She's down to just try it.
Yeah. She can kind of, she's got the gut like, yes, this is going to work.
Yeah.
I don't have like the instant gut feeling.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean
that's
bulldoze
right
in a bad way. I meant like
no,
she's going to be like, she's going to rally people. That's a better
that's
way.
in her personality
She's
type.
trying to get people to, she wants people to be on board with what she's doing.
Yeah.
And,
she's a campaigner.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a campaigner, rallier, galvanizer.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, just to kind of keep it on topic, we think everybody can be a leader. Everybody has influence to some degree, bad, good or bad, right? Mm-hmm. So you could be bringing the people down by having a bad attitude or not doing a good job, and that's influential, right? It's really just a nuanced way of, having influence and being a leader. Obviously, a leader, you're trying to progress, I think. And then we say leadership is influence, or John Maxwell says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So then it's like, could you be a bad leader in the sense of bringing people down? Sure, 100%. Then you could be a good leader at helping others lift up. You know? But it's funny, though, both of those scenarios mean other people, not yourself. Mm-hmm. So obviously, being a leader, it's not focusing fully on yourself.
Yeah.
because both of those scenarios with the influence, it's other people, not yourself. It's what the decisions I make, how do they affect others?
Yes.
Bring them up, bring them down to my level. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That
Thinking
kinda
about
deal.
the people. How is this going to affect the people?
Yeah.
And it really is. Okay. And also, you got to lead in your own skin. So, like, the way I lead is going to look different than how you lead. We're going to have very similar principles and values because we know that about each other. But I'm not going to lead with a lot of charisma or a lot like Miranda's a good example of that. I'm not going to have a ball of energy around an idea. I'm probably going to lay it out step by step. Actually, I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so like leading within your own skin, but knowing, like you said, think about like it's not about you. Like when you are thinking about what your skin is, what your strengths and your weaknesses are, the end goal is still you're utilizing those for the other person or the other people, the group.
Yeah.
That's good,
for the
bro.
betterment of others around you. You know, like how can you be thinking about that? That's the kind of the goal.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we were talking. I was talking with some of the team this past week, and just talking about how we really want to nurture a culture of just progressing forward and utilizing each other's strengths to help do that. You know, and because I just want to be a part of a team that's trying to like go forward. But I realize in myself, I have to be like constantly casting vision so that there's something to look forward to. It can't be like same vision for a year or 2 years. You know, we have to constantly be like recasting and reshaping it. It could be the same end goal, but we have to reshape it, I think, constantly. It can't just be one thing. And I think it can be like sometimes if you're hyper focused, you know, I don't know, thinking about companies that they released an iPhone, but I'm sure there was different, like they had a goal of like launching a iPhone, right? But there was different avenues to get there, you know? They had a vision for where it was going to be, but then, you know, it took years. I think it was 10 years in the making of getting the phone officially out.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
The iterative process.
Yeah. But it took somebody like Steve Jobs with tons of vision to say, this is what I see. And it was disrupting the market entirely.
Yeah, we're going to have
And,
computers in people's pockets.
Yeah, I'll have to find the video and maybe link it in the description or something. Haven't done that yet. We're trying to up our game slowly, very slowly but surely. But I saw something about that, how, you know, he pitched the idea, but he did it in a way of stages, basically. This is where we're going to be. And then we're going to get into a MacBook. And then it's going to be a book the size, or a computer the size of a book. And then we want it like a smaller book. That was the whole thing. That's where like the MacBook thing came in. And it was just awesome to hear his way of vision casting.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's cool.
I'll show it to you.
Casting in stages. Yeah, and I think that goes with the the analogy of building a bridge. You know, like for you as a visionary, you're on one side of the bridge already. You've already crossed it in your mind. But the other people aren't there yet. And literally they don't even see the walkway.
Bridge.
Yeah, there ain't no bridge yet.
Yeah.
So you've got to literally build, you know, pillar by pillar, like plank by plank, how to get there.
So what do you think, we can kind of wrap this up, what do you think are some practical things people can be mindful of, no matter the position they're in, realizing how they have influence, and it could be in their family, it could be at their work, church, just a friend group. You know, what are some ways to kind of start to acknowledge influence in your life and start using it for the betterment of others, like we were talking about?
I think, I mean, this is cheesy, but just believe it. Believe that you have influence. People are watching you. You know, you have a voice. Things you say, people are listening to, even if you feel like they're not, because they're cutting you off or something. Like,
and it's
people
never
are
too
listening.
late to start, too.
Yes. And I think, because we talked about this in the car, if you feel like you're not, be a reader, be a learner, listen, and just try.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. Try hard things.
Yeah, if there's someone in your life that you think is a leader, try to learn from them first. Maybe a good step.
That's good
Or if there's
advice.
someone that you look up to on the internet and they have a book, read their book and watch interviews of them. I really like watching interviews of people, like especially authors.
Yeah.
They go into so much different details, more backstory usually than of the books they write and stuff like that.
Yes, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Model after like the leaders you admire.
Yeah. I think that's good.
You know, absorb more information intake.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, I didn't even think about. It's really boils down to just trying to learn more. And because the more you learn, it's just going to reshape how you think and realizing how other people think and just trying to, I don't know, just get better all the time. Not being, you know, we have goals, but then you hit that, what's the next goal? Not just like settling basically and trying to coast through the rest of your life or something like that.
Yep. And try it on, you know, like learn something, you know, try on the shirt, try on the shoe, like try on the idea, do it tomorrow, do it today.
Yeah. And a good way too, is if there is a leader in your life, wholeheartedly serve them and help them too, because that is a way of creating a lot of influence. And that gives you a lot of weight whenever you're the one supporting someone else's vision.
Yes.
And you can cause other people to rally around that. That's so valuable.
Dude, buy-in and trust.
Those are hard. Because as a leader, a lot of times it's hard to get buy-in. I'm not a person that always gets buy-in, I feel like. You know, I'm good at casting vision, but because I have like so much of it, it's hard to know which one to kind of latch onto. That's why when I pitch an idea, I try to say, "Hey, this is just an idea, and I'm processing it as I'm telling you, and I'll know pretty soon if it's a good idea or not. And then if it is, let's try to figure out how to do it, right?" But finding people that will champion your idea, it doesn't mean you want a yes person around you all the time, but you want somebody that's going to critique it, but then also help move it forward still.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, and that's literally, that's the model that you took, the Working Genius Model assessment, which we said we should do this. We should explain things that we mentioned.
Yeah.
The Working Genius Model is literally a model that helps you figure out what your two geniuses are, your strengths, and your two frustrations are, and where those two strengths and those two weaknesses fall into the greater arc of a project. So you've got the beginning of the project, the middle of the project, and the end of the project. You have strengths and weaknesses that play a part in all three of those. And so like you're saying, you pitch the idea at the beginning, you have somebody discerning it in the middle, and then rallying behind the idea, and then implementing it at the end.
Yeah.
So you got to find those people in the three stages.
Yeah.
Dude, full circle.
Yep.
Full circle. All the things that we're talking about right
Let's
now.
go. Shout out to Jace and Ethan for paying for my assessment. We
split it.
If you want to take it, it's $25.
And I would say it's probably the most useful tool assessment that I've ever taken.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of resources on YouTube.
This isn't a sponsored ad, by the way.
Yeah, we're working on getting some sponsored ads.
Working Genius?
If you want to sponsor us, we'll do our best. We will promote it. We'll drink something or have a brand out of a cup. We'll drink it out of a branded cup or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, just to wrap up, I think, I don't know, it's a hard topic because I've wondered it for a while, having, now 14 people on our team and starting to think about becoming leader. Just learning about that wasn't even a thing until like 2020, probably 2021.
Yeah.
And, thinking about having a team when I got coaching and stuff, I didn't even know about these leadership tools or anything. I had no clue about it. So it's been awesome just to be able to kind of process all that and now see other people and try to bring them into that instead of just trying to lead them, teach them how to be leaders and equip them with tools so they can keep going basically, and that's kind of why, this topic's hard. Is everyone a leader?
Yeah. It's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
But I think
there's just so many ways to look at it too, but I think ultimately it's realizing it's influence and you have it. It's whether it's good or bad. So either have influence to how people rally around an idea, or have influence to rally around someone else's idea. If you're not good at getting an idea, and that's fine, and because a lot of the good idea people, they're not great implementers, And then kind of goes along with the working genius stuff, just the different stages of how people operate and stuff. And then just realizing, catching yourself whenever you're doing something that's bringing the team down or bringing your family down or your friends down, just realizing that weight of influence can go a long way.
Yeah, that's good. And you know, it's kind of, this is like almost so obvious, but you are leading people somewhere. And so it's a matter of like, say you've got a leader above you and they've got a vision. You're leading people with him or her to that vision. You're being a part of that leadership.
Yeah.
So you're still a leader. And what are you leading them towards?
Yeah. And that's where discernment can jump in. Then we'll finish off. But it's, having discernment of, I don't know if I should back this idea, or I should try to make sure they don't also back it, or, you know what I mean? Or also, like, sometimes people with ideas, they're not confident in it. So then discerning, hey, this is a good idea, being encouraging, confirming
it. Yeah.
No, like, hey, this would work on paper. You know what I mean? And so let's try it, that kind of deal. So anyway, glad we got to get back after it.
Solid.
In Atlanta. Let's keep it going.
That's right.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Go bless the rest.
Yep.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say real quick, thank you so much for listening, subscribing, all that good stuff. Also, we wanted to know if there's any topics you want us to talk about. Please drop a comment, shoot us a message. We'd love for some ideas on some things you guys want to hear about from us. If we could dive into something we've already talked about a little bit deeper, or it could be a completely new topic. So anyway, appreciate you guys. See y'all next time.